Hi, my name is Jen Fultz, and you're here at my exhibit at the Community Arts Center. And my exhibit is about reclaimed life. So I have taken old paintings and old windows and turned them into something updated, upgraded, and artful. And I have done this exhibit this way because it's my belief that that's what God did with my life. He took something that was headed nowhere good and he made it into something beautiful that could be glorifying to him. So, welcome to my exhibit. Hi, my name is Jen Fultz, and you are here at my exhibit called Reclaimed Life. And I am going to walk you through the exhibit and explain some of the artwork to you and my reasoning for doing it the way I did. So, this first piece is called Psalm 1. And when I had the plain canvas, I wrote out Psalm 1 on the canvas and then did this very transparent painting over the top of it using chalk pastels and workable fixative and a little bit of acrylic paint. The next painting is called Michelle's Tree. It was a memorial tree when her father passed away, and the blanket that has lighthouses on it was something that their family had done together to create a blanket that was like that, and the threads tie into the heart that's under the tree. So that's a very special tree that I did for her. He restores my soul is my husband's favorite phrase, and this is also a chalk pastel painting that resides in his office. And over here, you will see several of these bubble trees. It was a phase I went through, and this tree has verses on it that correspond with "I will be like a tree planted by the water." So a lot of designs, very Zentangle-y feeling without being traditional Zentangle. That was a lot of fun to do, and that is an acrylic and ink painting. The next tree is "Those who sow in tears will reap in joy," and this is a painting for some friends that wanted a fall tree and a place where they could write family memories down in the root system. So that's why the bottom is as blank as it is. The top is acrylic painting and the bottom is the chalk pastels technique. And here's another bubble tree. This one was again for my best friend. In the trunk you can see where it says Risky and Fultz. That's our last names, and our lives have been twisted and turned together for several decades now. And the fruit of that is very colorful. And then the last of the tree paintings is carries my family's memories in it. In the root system of the trees, we have written keywords that will remind us of things that our family did together, and it's a way to just keep those memories close at hand. This little suitcase down here on the floor, this was my uncle's briefcase, I think in the 50s, and my dad gave it to me, and of course I saw it as a canvas. And I just did a butterfly stencil on it, but then came over the top with different paints and pens to make it different. And sitting right beside it is a night light. It's just one of those little white things that you get at Michael's, and I decided to take it up a notch and decoupaged book pages on the bottom, and then painted it green, but it was just too green, so then I took some black paint to it. So it was a lot of fun. This is one of my favorite projects ever. I was at Goodwill one day, and there were these white boots, and anything white in my book is screaming to be painted. So I dyed the boots and then wrote adventure quotes all through it. So they look like maps because they're adventure boots, so you have to have a map. And anytime I'm going someplace I don't know, I love to wear those boots because life should be an adventure. This trunk was given to me from a neighbor as a gift, and so in the divider here I put decoupaged book pages in it, and on the cover also it has book pages on the cover also, and the interior of it is just matte white, and this gets used daily at my house. It's one of my favorite pieces. I love old and crusty with a little twist to it. So now we're going to go into the window phase. This window has the quote on it, "You are enough." So many times we think we have to be more than we are, and it's good to take a moment and just realize, I am enough, you are enough. The next window has a stencil, and then that stencil is covered with resin. And the resin is supposed to be the sky and the clouds. And yeah, I just think it turned out gorgeous. I was very happy with the way that one came out. The next window is a 4-foot by 4-foot window, and it weighs a ton. I had a lot of fun making the exterior frame look really old, and it's hard to see, maybe if I put, but there are peonies etched into the glass, and on a solid colored wall it looks just gorgeous. So we're entering into the peony section of my exhibit. This window here is plexiglass, and it has a peony toile behind the frame. Oh my darling, it's true. Beautiful things have dents and scratches too. So many of us run around with life having dents and scratches. None of us are perfect, but it doesn't mean that we can't be beautiful. And that's what that window is all about. Right below it is the bench that now sits at my dining room table every day. If you come to my home, that's where you'll find it. It was a garden bench that had like 5 layers of ugly paint on it, so I stripped most of it down and painted peonies on it. I love that thing. I love it. Up in the corner is a globe that is actually a lamp. And it was very fun to make, and hangs in my son's bedroom. And it's part of his adventure soul that he shares with me, that maps are really important to those of us that love a good adventure. And the next frame is another blessed stencil with hand-painted leaves and backed behind with fabric that has peonies on it. And this is one of my favorites. I love the way this one turned out. It took us a while to get to this, but yeah, it turned out great. The next window, you'll be surprised, is a peony. And it is a resin painting. I did the drawing with India ink and then sealed the India ink in with resin that has just a tinge of pink in it. And it reminds me of those peonies that just you barely have any color in them beyond the white. And I really like the way that one turned out. That was my first one, my first window that I painted. The next thing you come to is a sketchboard. This shows the drawings that I did to be able to blow the drawings up to do the larger window paintings. So all spring, poppies and peonies come off onto the paper. Anytime I picked up a pen, it was a poppy or a peony. And it was a lot of fun. But I'm ready to draw something else, but so far, poppies are still popping out of my pencils. And these are all paper and ink. Oh, I forgot, there is some colored pencils in there also. And the next one is kind of a crowd favorite. I bought this canvas and it had a brown background and these poppies have resin coating on it, and originally I bought it to do a completely different painting on it, but when I saw the resin coating I figured that would be a lot of work to get it off, so I just repainted the background and it completely changed the feel of this painting. It's amazing when you just change some of the colors, how the existing colors just pop out. And I love this one. And sorry, it's already sold. Okay, so this little shelf here was boring white, and it was on my wall, and when people see it now, they'll say, "Where did you get that?" I'm like, "Well, it was on my wall every time you came to my house." And painting it blue and then adding the old book pages onto it just completely changed it into a French cottagecore kind of look that is so popular now. And the little kitty sitting up here is my son's with its little mousy vintage pin to go with it. The piece underneath it is a cedar chest on legs. And I have never seen another cedar chest on legs since I picked this up at a yard sale. It was in pretty rough shape, and I didn't fix it a whole lot other than to paint it, and it completely changed its look by taking it into the navy blue paint with a white wax over the top of it. Okay, so the next one, it's my favorite, it's my favorite, it's my favorite. It's another poppy, imagine that. And I did the line drawing of the poppy on there, and it was just too boring for words. And a friend of mine was with me, and we tried to figure out how we could make it look more exciting. And I said, I'm just going to have to sleep on it. And while we were standing there talking, the vision of putting canvas behind it and doing a watercolor type painting on it came to me. And yeah, so that 48 by 48 window is now my favorite. I think maybe my favorite piece of art I've ever done. And right beside that is another globe lamp, and it has on it words, scriptures that talk about how much God loves the world. and there's holes around it so that when it's dark, the continents are outlined with little pricks of light. That was a lot of fun to do. So the next window was the second resin window that I did, and I wanted to take the peony one that I showed earlier and make it even bigger, and so that it was a huge statement piece. This again is a 4-foot by 4-foot window, and the poppy itself is just about that size. And it is black India ink with red India ink, and then that is sealed into the window with epoxy resin that has, again, a red shadow to it. So it gives it a very 3D effect that doesn't come across on camera. You have to come to the Art Center to see this one. So what do you do when you're traveling? I do things like this. We were in Montana a couple weeks ago, and while sitting in the airport and on the airplane, I had my pen, my paper, and my watercolor pencils, and created this threesome, and it was just a lot of fun to watch it come out. The orange just explodes off the page with those gorgeous black frames. So it's amazing what you can find on Facebook Marketplace, and this coffee table I picked up in this format, but it was glossy black, and it just didn't fit the concept of having an old window. So I got the chalk paint and the stencils out and changed it so that the window makes sense with the whole coffee table. And the bees are on there because in my house, I'm the queen bee, just so you know. So the next window here is another poppy. It's kind of coastal colors, and again the blue background with the white clouds, and the 3 poppies on it just is a lot of fun and very interesting to look at, and I adore it. So we've got another sketchboard here, and there's more bubble trees here because it's something that's easy to do when you just need to doodle or whatever. So I do these because then I only have to worry about what I'm putting in each circle. There's no big decisions or problem solving that has to be done beyond what am I putting in this circle. So it's very relaxing for me to do these. I tried it with the little sheepy here. They're not so much, but they are a boatload of fun, so I decided to put them with the trees. The second paintings represent my parents. This one with the tree on it is a song, a gospel song that my dad loves to sing. And the other one, the heart, is for my mom, who's in hospice care right now, and I just wanted her to know beyond a shadow of a doubt that I will carry her with me in my heart. Now we're to the peacock phase now. This mirror, hi! This mirror I picked up at, I don't know, a thrift store of some kind, and it was black, and you couldn't see really easily the beautiful design on it. And once I painted it red and then put the gold on it, I decided it needed to have peacocks with it because they're such elegant creatures. So next is the white peacock. This was another thrift store find, and it was ugly. people, it was ugly. The painting that was on it was just, did it no justice. It was supposed to be yard art, and it wasn't. And that's the reason it ended up at the thrift store. So I immediately painted it in color shifting paint and found out that I could paint it ugly just like the people that produced it. And then I decided to do an albino. And the glass and the marbles just popped right out when I did that. So I'm totally in love with that albino peacock now. It's just fun and elegant too. So the peacock feathers are something that I've done a lot of. And again, they have kind of the Zentangle flair to them, and they're just a lot of fun to do. That is liquid watercolor on canvas, and it's really tricky to work with, but it likes to move a lot, and you can end up with a really cool design. You just have to seal it really good when you're done. And the Eiffel Tower was just a wooden puzzle type thing, and I decided it needed to be painted navy blue and come to the art exhibit with me because it tied in so nicely with this antique frame beside it that has a decoupaged peacock in it. The frame was given to me from an estate sale. Nobody wanted to buy it because the painting in it was interesting. And so I took the frame, and once I had it in this gorgeous gray color with the gold accents, I decided it needed to have a peacock. So found some peacock decoupage paper and had a ball putting it together. So when you like to do repurposed, reclaimed art, people bring you things. And a friend brought me this mirror, and it was navy blue crackle paint from, I don't know, probably 20 years ago. And so I decided I wanted to give it kind of a coastal look, to make it look like it's been sitting out at the beach house. And I love the way it turned out. Just think it's gorgeous. This window that's next to it says Home Sweet Home on it, and it's etched glass. Amazingly enough, there's some poppies in it. So that was a lot of fun. That was kind of my test piece to see what I could do with it. On the table underneath, I have a house here that I decoupaged with old book pages and scrapbooking pages, and inside are pieces from 1950s, 1960s Sunday school materials. And so I had fun putting those little boys and girls with the sweet little rosy cheeks in my house. And then there's just some more sketches of things that I do when I'm traveling or sitting, waiting in waiting rooms and things. I just have a hard time sitting still, and this keeps me focused. The hands with the bird on it was a white elephant gift, and the paint on it was horrible ugly. So I immediately brought it home and made it look like cement. Well, it really is cement, but I made it look like that again. So that was a lot of fun. I love picking up pieces that are fun to make them look more realistic. All right, so this mirror has sat in my garage, I do not know how long. It came to me with a glossy black frame, and it was not anything that I wanted. So I decided I would paint it silver and then make it look like pewter. No, that didn't work. And so finally, I turned it into a watercolor plaster looking that goes with, again, the cottagecore granny chic look that's so popular right now. And I just love the way it turned out. It looks like it's been hanging on Grandma's wall for 100 years. It's beautiful. Underneath it is a bust that I call Belovedness. I have a love affair going on with vintage jewelry. And I also have a love affair going on with this song called Belovedness that talks about what God thinks about us and how different that is than what we think about ourselves. And next to it is this gorgeous old pocketbook that I decoupaged paper, Echoes from the Past on, and then again used vintage jewelry and crafting pieces that I've picked up over the years, and just love how fun it is. I think it would look great opened up with a plant planted inside of it too, but that's just me. And underneath on this table is a pear that had leaves glued to it, and the leaves kept falling off, and so I finally just took all of the leaves off and covered it with old book pages. And I just think it's so typical. Pears, so many artists have so much fun drawing them because the shape just flows, and so I loved that. And the table, again, was brought to me by somebody that thought I might be able to do something with it. Someone had stripped it and then didn't know what to do with it because they'd heard that you shouldn't strip furniture. Well, I've heard that you shouldn't paint furniture too, but I do it anyway. So I absolutely love that little spindle leg table, and it's because of the feet on it. They're little claw feet over glass balls, and they just thrill my soul every time I see them. And we're almost to the end. The final painting was commissioned by my oldest son and is heavily protected. He is a Legend of Zelda fan, and so he asked me to do a painting for his apartment of the Master Sword. And so I did, but it wasn't enough to just do the painting of the sword. I made the leaves out of old maps because Zelda stories are all about traveling through the country, and it's about a journey. And so I thought it was appropriate to do the leaves out of maps. And that, yes, that's the end of my exhibit. If you are still here watching this after hearing me talk for that long, I love you. I'm so glad that you were here. And if you have the opportunity during the month of July 2021, come to the Community Arts Center and check out this exhibit. And if it's after that time, the Community Arts Center always has amazing exhibits here in their gallery. So check out their website, caccc.org. Thank you.